families. They have, it was right around Christmas. I said, why don't you guys just go home and try to enjoy your Christmas? Because I just wanted to be there with my mom's fresh passing spirit and just feel her. I didn't change anything in her apartment for 3 weeks. I just sat there with her. I went through everything and trying to find clues and what I should do and trying to, get everything together to deal with her estate and her stuff. But for 3 weeks, I literally sat there and conjured it with her apartment for 30 years with all of her stuff. And I had people, like my niece came over with her kids for a short time. And, it's like it was, and if somebody wanted to come back, that's fine. But I had nowhere else to go. I only had there because it was 2,000 miles away from where I live. So I was there, and I really, really, that time was such a deep grieving time and spiritually growing time. It was intense, and so grief, it doesn't, the levels of intensity, they, as everyone that has been in grieving knows, it changes, but it's not like, oh, it's over. Sometimes a sound, a smell, a memory will just bring you back, and you go back to that place of pure grief where you're you feel the pain of the loss, or the depth of the person, or all the lessons of life. Like, it felt like I was grieving first her life and all the things that happened to her, or all the things all the things I knew of her that were maybe sad or incomplete, or that we didn't get to, or whatever. And then, it was a year and a half ago. Now a part of my grieving the loss of her in my life is to grieve myself and who I was in that process and who I was before. And now then to embrace who I am now, because I am changed. It changes us, and we don't change back. We might appear to our coworkers or our friends. It's like, okay, yes, we're laughing again, we're smiling, we're dancing, but we're not the same person because we have changed and we have grown, whether we like it or not. And we see things differently and we feel things differently. It seems to shift our whole perspective of everything, and it's not negative. It is. I don't even think it's negative or positive. It could be seen as positive. I see a lot of positive. I suppose I could use the word positive to describe that, but it's just growing, and to me that's what life is all about. So it's exciting.
Yeah. And I feel like that is just such an absolute beautiful gift of grief. That the loss that we endure when somebody has transitioned, crossed over, that beautiful gift of, it feels like love, that positive that you were talking about. For me, It feels like that love, and how it grows from that place that feels like it's the thing that's going to take you out. And yet love actually grows bigger and stronger from that place, which is just amazing.
That's exactly right. You said the right word. It all boils down to love.
Yeah.
And then we need to love ourselves, even if there was an argument like you were saying before, or if things were, if it was a horrible death, or, whatever, it still boils down to love. We love that person. We continue to love that person. And we need to love ourselves also. If you had an argument with somebody and they died, or they died in a horrible way, some people will take that personally, and I would want to help lift them from that, and that it's not their fault, and that it's not necessarily negative or bad to die. Like, our culture has this like, oh no, they died, it's like, well, I think it's going to be beautiful, but also it is life. And when you
Right.
have a baby, you, like you said, you didn't think it was going to happen. This is one reason I didn't have children, because I knew when you have a baby, it's going to die. It's going to I thought of all the bad things that could happen, and not
Yeah.
that death is bad, but it's going to be painful. There's going to be grief involved, because when you have a baby, you love that more than life itself, as you know.
Yeah.
And so that is the deepest relationship, the most intimate for most, so that's a very brave thing to do.
Yeah. 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 Oh, Michelle, I'm going to start bringing this in for a landing. And you're just fascinating. And I love how you present with this topic, because you are right. It's not an easy, for this culture. I think other cultures embrace it, and we just don't. In the Western culture, we don't embrace death, and we don't talk about it very often. And you are so fluent and articulate with it, and you paint a beautiful picture. Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, it's yeah, and the experience and the gifts, the love that came from that person and from that depth of grief is just, in a million years, I never would have thought that it's the biggest blessing that has ever been laid upon my heart. And right, because I don't understand how all of this works, but I know I had a choice to do it one way or to do it a different way. And the only way I knew to do it was to honor my daughter, because the other way just felt like her life was going to be a waste. For me personally, that was the way that it worked for me. And I adore you. I love you. I love the work that you do. I think that you just walk in gratitude, and you're just such a beautiful soul yourself. And I just couldn't thank you enough for being here with us and sharing.
Well, thank you. I feel the same way about you. I feel that you're bringing so much, and your daughter, is this your daughter that's inspired all of this, Dara?
Yeah. And I believe Dara and your mom, what's your mom's name?
Carol.
Dara and Carol are out dancing, playing, having fun somewhere. Because I know for me, when I'm having a moment and I break down and I start crying, I just hear her saying, "Hold on, guys, I got to go down, take care of the old lady again, because she's having a moment, and I'll be right back for the poker game," or, because it really does. It feels like that. And there's times I just have to start laughing. It's like, I know I'm interrupting your fun, but I'm having a moment. So come and help me, and then you can go back and do what you need to do. So, so I just, I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for your work. And I'm so grateful that we are connected, because this is not the end of our connection. There's so much that you have to share with the world, and I would love to stay connected with you and have you back on the show again at another time if you would like to do that. I think that would be beautiful, because your work is powerful, and people need to know that there's another way to handle grief and death and loss, and it happened traumatically with you, and to be able to do it differently. And I think you have a powerful message, and I'm so grateful that you do the work you do.
Thank you so much.
And for you being on the show. Yeah.
Likewise,
yeah.
I feel that you are too, and that grief it's individual, just like we all are. Yeah. So everybody has their path and their way, and it's all good.
Yes.
However they want to do it. It might not feel good, but that's what everybody needs to do. And, no, it doesn't feel good. And that's
right.
part of the transformation. Yeah. So
that's right.
Thank you so much. I look forward to sharing more with you anytime.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you, Michelle. And all of Michelle's information on how to join her closed Facebook group called Good Grief will be on the show notes. So if you missed any of that will be available on my website and in the show notes. So no worries about that. And to all of the listeners, thank you so much. And I know that you took away all kinds of wonderful wisdom and great information from Michelle Boss. And thank you, listeners. Have a wonderful, beautiful rest of your week, and we will see you next week.
Thank you for spending time with us today. Please go to nadahogan.com for show notes and other information you can use right away. If you like what you heard here, please subscribe to our show and don't forget to rate and review right there on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, or wherever you get your shows. And don't forget to tell your friends about it. We'll see you next week.